Are you tired of meeting women and ending up in the friend zone? In this video, you'll learn the simple way to have any new woman give you a shot at dating her instead of just making you her new buddy. Ugh. Hi, I'm HarryWilmington. I've been a men's dating coach for 15 years and have helped hundreds of men just like you find their dating confidence. If you'd like more of my expert dating advice, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos. All right, so this is the problem that a lot of guys have. You meet a new woman, and the hardest thing for a lot of guys to do is figure out how to turn this woman into somebody that he can potentially date. And so what a lot of guys do is in the approach and in initially meeting her, they have a very friendly interaction with her. They might decide to get the number or whatever, but then it's like they keep talking to her and interacting with her without making moves necessary to let the woman see that he has a potential interest. As a result of that, these guys end up in the friend zone after having befriended a woman for 3 or 4 months and not making any moves that indicate he actually wanted to go on a date with her. And I don't want you to make that mistake anymore. These are the steps that you're gonna take to ensure that if there's a woman out there that you have an interest in trying to date first, that you're able to do that instead of falling into the friend zone pit and being mad at yourself forever. So here's the first step, is you want to approach every woman that you're attracted to as a potential dating partner. And I say this because there's some of you guys out there that think, well, okay, what if I meet a woman and initially I don't think that we would go well together, or I'm only kind of attracted to her but not fully, or I'm not sure where this would go. You don't have to know all of those things in the beginning in order to get a date with a woman. But you do have to decide if you want to possibly go down that path, because a lot of guys do it backwards where they think I'll become the woman's friend first, and then if things go well that way, I'll grow to definitely like her, and then I'll want to take her out. But just having that initial thought of this is somebody I could potentially see myself at least taking out on a date, that's going to change how you approach her, because it's going to be a big difference between you approaching her as a woman you want to potentially take out and a woman that you're thinking might just be a friend. And that's how a lot of women take it early on. When they first see you, they don't know if you're gonna be in the friend zone or if you're gonna be a potential dating partner. They're pretty much open to everything because you are a new stimuli and you're a blank slate. And so it really depends on how you approach her and how you decide which pathway this is going to go that's going to put her in that same process of thought. Number 2, be flirtatious during the interaction. Even if you don't know for sure if this woman's gonna be one that you date long-term or become friends with, flirting can just be fun. Flirting does not have to lead to a relationship or sex or even you going on a date with her. But flirting is just you being a fun guy and recognizing that this woman is somebody to also have fun with. And also, being that guy that's kind of flirtatious is going to allow her to see and feel what it could possibly be like to have that kind of interaction with you on a regular basis. Be flirtatious in your words to her. Be flirtatious when you're telling a story and you kind of like touch her shoulder a little bit or whatever. These kind of actions will help her see, one, that you're a fun person, and also that you're not afraid of her. A lot of guys hold back early on because they're afraid they're gonna make a move that's gonna give away too many intentions, and then it's gonna make the woman head for the hills, so they just end up being very stagnant and not moving a lot, not making a lot of jokes and not touching, and that shows a woman that you fear her, and women want a guy that is confident and, more importantly, knows that she is nothing to be afraid of. If anything, you should almost make her a little bit nervous at how confident you are, and that's perfectly fine to do. Number 3, ask her for her number. And this might seem obvious, but I know back in the day when I was at college, for example, there would be a lot of girls that I would meet, and then at the end of the interaction, I would just walk away because I was just too nervous to ask for the number. So you want to get her number because A, that's a bold move. Nowadays, a lot of guys try to go for like the social media or, smoke signals or some other kind of thing besides her number, but you want her direct contact because you want to be able to directly contact her later to get a date, okay? And again, making this move shows boldness. Speaking of which, step number 4 is you want to make the move to ask her out in your very next interaction with her. So whether you get the number and then a few days later you call her or text her, or you get the number and then the next time you just happen to run into her, whether you're at the store or you're out in public or whatever, the very next interaction you have with this woman, you want to ask her out. If she gave you the number, that means she at the very least had a very positive response to your interaction. So by you hitting her up and asking for a date, this puts her in the thought process of, oh, he's trying to date me. Well, let's see what that could be like. Versus if you wait a while and you have like 4 or 5 other interactions with her before you finally get in that pathway, now she's like, well, he's asking me for a date now. That's weird because we were on the path towards friendship. He never once directed this towards the dating path. And it's going to be easier to go out with a girl, and let's say you guys go out and you don't have a good time with her, or you enjoy the interaction, but you realize it's not at the level of being in a relationship. It's going to be easier to scale back early on from possibly dating each other to a friendship than it's going to be later on going from a friendship to a relationship. And I want to remind you guys that just because you ask a woman out, that is not a wedding proposal. It is not the thing that tells her that you absolutely love her. It is simply an inquiry. It's saying to her, I find you interesting enough to see what else could potentially be there in a more serious realm. If you think of asking her out more in that way versus in this way where it's like in movies where it's like the end all be all, I gotta ask you out because I care so much about you, like you don't need to do any of that stuff to get a date. Which leads to the very final important step, number 5, which is do not be afraid to use the word date. So when you call her up or text her, you say, hey, so-and-so, I think we should go here. And she says, sure. Then you make sure to say, great, it's a date. I'll see you at this time or whatever. But you want to make sure the word date is thrown in there because you want her to know that the purpose of this is to see if this could potentially be something that leads towards a relationship. A lot of guys make the mistake of using words like, oh, we should just hang out, or hey, let's just chill sometime. And when you don't use the word date, what happens is a woman can very much think this is just a friendly hangout. And then you'll end up on this thing where you're thinking it's a date, but you didn't say date, and she's thinking it's a hangout. So you get to the end of it, you're trying to kiss her or hug her or whatever. She's like, well, I thought we were just hanging out as friends. And the reason she has that thought is because you did not use the word date. Women want to be asked on dates. There are so many women I've talked to who've complained about the fact that guys no longer take them out on dates. The reality is guys are taking them out, but the woman can't tell that it's a date because the guy's not using the word date. So she's just thinking it's a hangout, it's a chill, it's whatever. So words are very important to women. And again, if you say the word date, and she still agrees to it, that's even better because now it lets you know that she doesn't mind you possibly taking her on the pathway towards this being some kind of relationship. But you got to use the word date when you set it up. So that's it. If you do those 5 things, I promise you, guy, the chances of you ending up in the friend zone with new women is going to be very, very low. This is all about you and what you're doing early on to guide her in a certain direction. So if you're that guy early on that's talking but not asking for the number, or when you do finally get the number, you're not asking for a date, then you are very much taking her down the friend zone path. And that ends up being your fault because this would have been a girl that would have potentially dated you had you been bold enough to actually get and ask for the date. So comment below and let me know, in what ways have you found effective for staying out of the friend zone? One of the best ways to avoid becoming a friend is texting the wrong way. And yes, there is a right way and a wrong way to text women. Now, I've written a short ebook on how to keep your text game on point so that you're always building up interest and keeping yourself out of the friend zone. You can download that at the link in the description. In the meantime, check out some of the other videos on this channel to improve your dating game. And if you like this video, hit the like button, be sure to subscribe, and share this with your friends. And I will see you next time. I'm out. Peace.